Hi, my name is Miles Nesbitt, and today we're going to be talking about improving the health of children's lives in Oklahoma. Now, the goal of this presentation is to understand how we can improve the health of children's lives in Oklahoma. And I know I'm just talking about Oklahoma, but this also can go throughout the whole world. And some of the problems that are occurring in Oklahoma that have to deal with the health of children's lives is children living in poverty, alcohol and drugs, and education. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is children living in poverty. According to the most recent data, 209,000 children in Oklahoma live in poverty. That's a lot of people, a lot. And growing up in poverty is one of the greatest threats to health of children's lives, and especially in their development. It impedes children's cognitive development and their ability to learn, which is a very huge thing. It can contribute to behavioral, social, and emotional problems, which that's one of the main things that's going on with children and people in general nowadays. There are a couple of ways we can help change this, such as reduce poverty by messing with our economy and our labor market institution in ways that affect employment rates and the size of workers' paychecks. We can also keep our current labor market and engage in more aftermarket distribution. We also need the parents to do their part and have a full-time job and find a way to help their family be successful. Because it starts with the parents, and if they're able to get a job and able to be stable and help their kids, they will be able to live in a better environment for the children. Now, the next, this is probably what the main topic I'm going to talk about is alcohol and drugs. Kids that do drugs and abuse alcohol are shown to have a negative impact on the brain development and during the time of important cognitive development. We all know that alcohol and drugs is absolutely bad. We know that it's not the way to go in life. That's not the right path at all. Most people that do those things end up going downhill in their career. We're trying to put our children in the best position to grow older and to be on the right track and stay away from those. And alcohol and drugs, which it can make the kids make bad decisions, such as having unprotected sex, which is obviously not good at all. Because now you're talking about our kids and children in general having sex at a young age, and now their spouse is pregnant and gonna have a child, and now the kid itself obviously hasn't even gone through life long enough to know how to raise their own child besides take care of themselves. There are mental and physical health that comes with that. Because obviously we all know that drugs and alcohol do things to your brain that make you do certain things, and it just makes you not think. And when you don't think, you end up making bad decisions. It can continue to the adulthood. This things such as alcoholism. I've known parents in general that have been doing it, that have done drugs, and then even passed it down to their kids, and now they got their kids hooked on it. So we need to find a way to keep the kids away from it as much as possible, and just stop it in general. It also affects their education, which is very important, especially at early age. Education is what is going to help children grow, develop, learn, and be able to get jobs and whatnot. And that's actually the next topic is talking about education. Now, with education, in early childhood, education, it says 57% of kids are not enrolled in school. Now, that can go all the way back to the parents maybe living in poverty, maybe not living in a good environment, because the parents now can't even afford to get the kids into school, which affects the children at the end of the day, because now they're not getting the education that they need, and is holding them back. And the state of Oklahoma lacks in work ethic and devotion to education. In Oklahoma, parents aren't, I'm not saying all of them, but this just shows some Oklahoma parents aren't able to get their kids into school or aren't trying to push their kids into getting a good education. And without a good education without a good education foundation, the state of Oklahoma kids will not be attracted to industry and business field. And I mean, those are some of the areas that kids can start learning and trying to get into. It's not the only areas, but those are one of the main topic areas. The budget cuts and funds going to other sources is affecting the potential impact of improving the education in Oklahoma. So we need to find a way to get the money towards kids getting into school, money towards children, parents living in a better area, so the kids are put in a better situation, a better area. And this goes back to children living in poverty. But if we think about it, children living in poverty, they're gonna end up start making bad decisions because if they're not in school and they're just not on the right track in the first place, it's like they're gonna just end up doing things that they shouldn't do because they're not busy in school, not busy learning anything, which makes a huge difference for them growing up. And that could, and them going back into alcohol and drugs, them doing those things is going to affect them in the future, and it's gonna it could ruin their whole life, especially if they start early. Now, I have a plan to help with the problems I talked about. And we're going to start talking first out with children living in poverty. I think a great idea that will help kids stay away from alcohol. Well, okay, I'm actually going to talk about alcohol and drugs. My apologies. A great idea that will help kids stay away from alcohol and drugs is offering kids jobs. Early work experience, it will keep them busy and make them start getting ready to become adults, giving them confidence and self-worth. If we can put these kids in an environment where they can start to learn early about working and being able to make money for their families and being able to put themselves on the right track, because if they're working, that means they don't have time to be dealing with alcohol and drugs. They have to be on point. They want to keep their job. So that's another thing that's going to help them out tremendously. We need to get the parents more involved with their kids' lives. If the parents aren't there for the children, then the children do not have a guide. And the parents are supposed to be the guide. They're supposed to be the ones to put them on the right track, tell them the things that they should do, the things that they shouldn't do. And I just know if kids have a father figure and a mother in their life, and the parents are on point and they have jobs and they're doing the right things, our parents are our role models, and that's huge for kids. So if that's the case with the parents, then that will help them stay on the right track and see what they need to do. We need to provide a affordable higher education and education grants to residents. This will expand the accessibility and the opportunity. We also need to also need the states and private organizations to combine to provide community resources and financial assistance to help families in the neighborhoods to find tangible ways to increase the quality of life and the quality of the environment, which I think is huge. And for education, we need to start funding programs such as Head Start program. Parents must encourage their kids to read more. I know reading is a huge thing. Helps you with your speech. It helps you just learn a lot more things in general. And we also need to invest into getting kids into school. Obviously, if we can get children into schools, then they will they'll finally get their education. They'll be on point. They'll stay away from drugs and alcohol. But at the end of the day, I believe it all goes back to the parents. The parents have to set the example. Parents have to be ones to help their children stay on the right track and whatnot. Tell them to stay away from alcohol and drugs because of what those bad substances can do to you. And like I said, this isn't only for Oklahoma. I'm talking mainly about Oklahoma, but this is a problem that I know goes along and happens in all states. So if we can set up these plans and put kids on the right track, then I know we will be able to help the health of children's lives in Oklahoma and in other states. Thank you.